manipulates us?
It sure doesn't enlighten us.
Adorno and the culture industry. Next time on Philosophy Talk.
Listen to Philosophy Talk today at noon on KSJE 90.9 FM, Farmington. KSJE is supported by San Juan Regional Medical Center, here to meet your urgent and emergent medical needs, whether they are COVID-19 related or not. Medical emergencies happen when you least expect them, whether it's a stroke, heart attack, illness, or injury. San Juan Regional Medical Center's caregivers are here to provide care to you and your loved ones. Find out more online at sanjuanregional.com. Ten minutes past 8 o'clock. It is Tuesday morning, September 8th. Good morning, everybody. I'm Scott Micklin. Thank you for tuning in to KSJE 90.9 FM over the air, of course, in San Juan County, 103.3 FM over the radio in Durango, Colorado, and, of course, streaming everywhere from our website, ksje.com. Welcome also to our viewers who are watching this visual radio program, streaming live to the KSJE YouTube channel and to our Facebook page. We're glad that you are with us, everybody. Coming up this morning, my guest here in the studio, Jamie Church, is going to be joining me. She is, of course, the president and CEO of the Farmington Chamber of Commerce. There's lots of news to talk about for our local businesses and much, much more, so stay tuned for that. Coming up in the next few moments right here on KSJE. Next hour, Mick Hess is going to be here, Roving with the Arts. It is our classical music program. Mick is playing music from the composer Olivier Messiaen coming up this morning on Roving with the Arts. That's next hour right here on KSJE, so stay tuned for that. Don't forget, of course, you can also connect with us on Twitter and on Instagram, in addition to Facebook and YouTube. And let's check out our weather forecast. There is a big change coming in the weather this week. Take a look. Much colder temperatures. Today's high only 75 in Farmington. Increasing clouds, maybe a good chance of showers after midnight tonight. The air quality alert remains in effect as well for the smoke in the air, but hopefully that's going to blow on out as the winds shift. Overnight, of course, a chance of showers with a low of 46 in Farmington. Colder tomorrow with a chance of showers during the day on Wednesday with a high of 59 and a low of 47. More chances for rain and some sun and clouds on Thursday, a bit warmer, 65, 45 for a low, and then things start to slowly warm back up with lower 70s on Friday, upper 70s on Saturday, and lower 80s on Sunday. And that is a look at the weather, and we want to show you a place where it is already snowing today, and it has been overnight. This is up in Moran, Wyoming, the Teton Range. You can see there with a nice coating of snow this morning, where currently it's 27 degrees with a high today forecast up there of 48 degrees in Moran, Wyoming. Let me turn to my guest who is here with me this morning, who's excited about the change in the weather. Jamie Church is here from the Farmington Chamber of Commerce. Good morning.
Good morning.
You're going to harvest some tomatoes later, you were saying, right?
Today I'm going home and I'm picking all the rest of my red tomatoes because
probably a good idea.
It's supposed to freeze, but
I don't think so.
Really hard on these tomatoes,
right?
And I would hate to lose them at the last minute.
Right. So maybe time to bring them in. Because
yes, I think so. Well, just to be on the safe side.
Exactly.
Just
but it's going to get colder
than
what we've been seeing.
I mean, I love fall. So we're heading into my very favorite season.
You're ready.
In fact, I even have a cardigan on, which
I'm
probably going to get too hot. But I love fall. And so September, October, November are my months. So excellent. I'm very excited to see the temperatures drop. It's just been unusually hot.
I was going to say
98.
I can't remember a warmer Labor Day weekend.
To drop 30 degrees, though, is pretty drastic. So,
it is pretty drastic.
But no.
That's
anyway,
true.
I'm good.
So, good to have you. Good to have you here.
Thanks.
The Chamber is rolling along.
We are rolling along.
Lots of stuff to talk about this morning, I know.
Right.
One thing would be this CARES Act grant money that all of our local governments have received that I know you've been really pushing out to make sure local businesses know about these opportunities.
Well, and I actually feel a little bad. That came out right before I left for a mini vacation for our anniversary. And so I wasn't able to push it out as much as I normally would have, but I will be going into the office right after this, and I will be sending out an email with the press release and the links and everything to all of our chamber members. And of course, you've got the links there on the screen for this grant and for small businesses. So really trying to get that information shared, because what great news for our small businesses. This is a really great opportunity. And I think it was over $3 million that San Juan County was awarded. So actually, I'm going to take off my cardigan because I'm getting warm.
Well,
so
you're in the studio.
I know,
that's right.
The studio's warm.
That's true. But these are grants. They're not loans, so they don't have to be repaid.
Exactly, right. And that's great news.
And basically, depending on where your business is located, which would be where you would apply, which entity, if you're in the city or in the county, that's why we've put up all of the addresses there on the screen if you're watching us to see where to go to get more information on your particular.
And we'll be adding these links on our chamber website as well this afternoon.
But all these entities, San Juan County, the cities of Aztec, Bloomfield, Farmington, and Kirtland, have money to grant under this program for these small businesses. And it's really to, I guess, reimburse for expenses related to COVID-19.
Yes. And as I was looking at the press release, it does seem like, what you need to qualify is pretty open as far as what you're going to use the grant money for.
Right.
So there are a ton of restrictions on that. And 50 and under employees, full-time employees, or the full-time equivalent. So that fits a lot of our small businesses that have really been, struggling. And I can think of a few right off the top of my head that I hope get right in and apply for these grants, because they are just on the edge of they're businesses that just haven't been allowed to open yet, and have not been allowed to operate at full capacity, but yet they still have expenses. They still have insurance and rent, and they have to keep some inventory on hand. And so this is going to be very, very helpful.
Good.
So there's qualifications, but again, it's all there in those links.
Exactly. So again, we encourage folks, if you're a business owner or know a business owner, we would encourage you to let them know about this opportunity. Again, these are grants. They don't need to be paid back, and they're really designed to help with these COVID expenses.
Right. And I do want to really recognize, I know Warren Unsicker worked really hard to get the information and get what they needed to get in for the city of Farmington. Warren and his team did work really hard, because I was on a phone call a couple of times as they were preparing for that. And so this is a great opportunity, and I do hope all of our small businesses in all of San Juan County will be able to take advantage of it. So just to kind of keep us going here for the next few months.
That's right. And that's important, because as you mentioned, even though some things have reopened, there are still some businesses that have not been able to reopen, and others have not been able to reopen back to 100%.
Right.
And I know
even the restaurants.
You're concerned about that.
I am. Even the restaurants, having the outdoor, look what's going to happen here in 30 degrees.
Right.
So now a lot of the restaurants have been doing the outside thing, but we've all known that's going to change as the weather changes.
Exactly.
So then they've been allowed to reopen at 25% capacity, which is great. And
indoors.
As I mentioned, indoors, that would just step in the right direction.
Right.
I talked to you on the phone a couple weeks ago. Definitely a step in the right direction. But however, that isn't quite yet enough to be able to go back to hiring back employees and, doing all the things they were doing before COVID. So these type of programs, these grants, are very, very helpful. And hopefully, as the numbers continue to either stabilize or go down, and people are wearing masks and all of these things are being implemented, and we're starting to see things level off with COVID, then they'll be able to continue to increase. Some of these businesses that have not been allowed to open, hopefully will be allowed to open. But it's, again, things aren't just all of a sudden better. I mean, we still need to keep in mind that shopping local, supporting those small businesses, even if the restaurants, it's freezing outside and you can't eat outside and they're open to 25% capacity, still think about going to those small local restaurants and ordering to go and take out, because that's going to help them as we go through this gap before they can open full. So,
very true.
Yeah.
And I know, again, it's important to still follow the directives and the health orders, wearing the mask, the social distancing, all these things to allow these businesses to reopen, maybe get more capacity. We're hoping everybody behaved and follow the directions over Labor Day, because sometimes we see a spike after a holiday.
And so
we're all kind of waiting with bated breath to see
Right.
how the numbers look in 2 weeks.
Right.
All those things. And again, for some of these restaurants specifically, and I'm not a business person, but I don't know what profitability means at 25%. If you can even, some are working very hard to make it profitable, but
I'm not even sure it's a break even at 25%.
Right.
I mean,
but that's what I mean, is that until these numbers
Right.
come back up,
Right.
they're not able to maybe even make
Right.
a profit, and so they're just still scraping by.
Exactly.
And
exactly.
it's
and
tough.
think how frustrating it is. So you're a restaurant and you have, you are geared up to be back at 50 or 75 or 100%. And then now it's going to be cold. And so people might not sit outside and they want to come sit inside. Well, 25%, depending on your capacity, it's not very much. That's maybe a couple of tables.
Right.
So
Depending
then you
on how
have
big you are, that's
patrons
true.
perhaps getting frustrated. And that's where we all need to just exercise some patience and some flexibility and some understanding. And that's when you say, okay, well, we can't sit in, but okay, well, let's go ahead and just order to go. And I know that can upset your plan or your day. And so we just need to be flexible, keep these numbers down, follow all the safety things so that we can get to that 50 and 75 and someday, some magical day, back to 100%.
Right.
But it's
But we're
following
seeing
all the safety protocols is helping that.
very true, and we're seeing the numbers are looking good. The state
Right.
is responding.
Right.
We were talking a little bit about some of the travel
Yes.
restrictions coming in
Yes.
from our neighboring
Yes.
states, and
that
I think
that was another step in the right direction.
Colorado is now. So if you go to Colorado, you don't have to quarantine when you come back
Right.
from Colorado. So
Right.
that's a positive thing. Arizona and Texas still have some work to do.
Right.
But
So if you're traveling, you just
yeah.
need to look at where you're traveling, or if you have family coming in from somewhere, look to where they're coming from. And if they're at one of those states where they might still be more of a risky as far as the numbers go, then you just might need to know about the quarantining. But now Colorado, as you said, which is great because a lot of people traveling back and forth to Colorado every day, whether it's a commute. And I know commuting for work and essential businesses was exempt, and medical
Right.
reasons was exempt.
Right.
But
there are a lot of families and a lot of folks who like to visit and
exactly.
just travel and
Right.
so that's
I have
important.
friends up there, close friends, or just going up there and crossing the state line, and to have to quarantine was, I think, confusing. So
Sure.
this, I think, was definitely a step in the right direction. So
Very true.
especially for our region, other
Definitely.
regions of New Mexico, that's not going to make as much difference, especially if they're on the border more of Texas. That's,
Right.
they're still having some issues. But so just be informed, check, and before you travel.
Exactly.
Is the best advice.
And still be careful.
Yeah, still be careful.
Even if you're going to some of these safer states, that's
Right.
it's perfectly fine. But it is encouraging, and we hope that we keep moving in that same direction.
Right.
And we see, again, as you say, 25% indoor dining, maybe 50% indoor dining someday, 75%.
Right.
As things get colder, we are going to be moving inside, and
I
that
was
may
just gonna
increase
say
the
that
the
too.
risk
It might.
of spreading this virus, because it does still spread.
Right. So I think for my staff at the chamber, we have a great setup, which I'm really happy about, that we can completely social distance there. We have a large conference room. Our offices are all set very far apart, but I know not every business has that option. So I think as your employees maybe are being inside more, whether it's at home or in the office, just even ramping up some of what you can do. If there's a possibility, if you have to have a meeting with your whole team, see if you can just conference call everybody in, even if you're in the same building, or do a Zoom, even in your
Right. Sure.
I could do a Zoom with
How are
Jonathan
things
and
over the
Haley.
wall?
Yeah, how
Yeah.
are things over there?
Right.
But and also we know with
What time is it
schools-
there?
Yeah, what time is it there? 10 feet away.
Right.
But even we know with schools, and I know there's a lot going on with schools right
Right.
now. That is another area where, as students do begin to come back in, whenever that is, hybrid or in person. I know Aztec has one model going on, and Farmington right now has a different model going on. San Juan College is back in session. So that also brings people together that maybe haven't been together for several months. And so it's not just COVID. I mean, there's
Right.
colds and flus
True.
and stomach bugs. And, I think we forget it's COVID's not the only thing out there. So as we all get together and we've been wearing masks and we've been doing all this, we come inside and so we just need to remember to stay healthy and follow things as much as we can.
And I know our medical friends would say, don't forget your flu shot this winter. Don't forget your vaccinations if you've got school kids. I mean, all those things still are really, really important. Maybe this year more than ever.
Well, more than ever, because I do think we've been protecting ourselves so much on the immunity front that maybe we haven't been building up some immunity. And so then we get exposed to all these things. And so, but I'm not a medical person. So I just want to say I'm not a medical person. Yes. No, I'm not. But I mean, so
but be careful and be smart about it.
This is a strange year. Let's just face it. 2020 has been a very strange year.
I think that is true. And we can engrave that in stone because that's not going to change. I wish it would, but you're right. The other thing I want to ask you about is Back to Business Bingo, which has been going gangbusters all late summer here.
I'm so glad you brought that up.
The last card was out. And
you have the 8th till the 18th.
Okay.
So
we still have time.
The 18th is Friday, I think.
I'm going to show. This is, thank you, Counselor Janice Giacchino. I think I borrowed her picture. Yes. She was out and about everywhere.
She took this and just ran with it. And the reason that she got so interested was she really liked the emphasis on what we could do rather than focusing for months on what we can't do and
this
restrictions.
This is closed, and we can't do that.
This is what we could do. Yeah. And we did 4 great bingo cards, and we've had a great time with it. The 18th is the last day to get your card in. So you can play any of the 4 cards. They're all on our chamber website.
You can print them out and take them out and go to visit these businesses.
If you don't have time now, if you really want to play, but you don't have time to do all 4, just choose one of them and say, hey, these are places I'd love to go. Just go in and get the card signed. And the fun thing is we've got some really great prizes. And if you get your card in to me, all you have to do is scan it, email it to me, drop it by the chamber anytime between 9 and 4 this week. We have these diamond earrings from Garcia and Company Jewelers are beautiful, and then we have a gift basket from Walmart, and we have a gift basket from the Dyed Poppy, and we've got some cash gift cards. And all you've got to do is get this card into me, and we're going to draw on Monday the 21st, and then we're going to be giving out the prizes. So you've got just a few more days, but you can get it done. I mean, go around, and we do hope, as I've mentioned, if you go by Oso Grande Coffee, which many of you might not even know where Oso Grande Coffee is, but it's a great little drive-through right there on San Juan Boulevard. Right. And they have wonderful coffee. Just go through the drive-through, grab a cup of coffee and say, would you sign my bingo card? So that is all it takes. And it's been a really fun thing for this summer just to really highlight some businesses. And we've had brand new chamber members on there, and then we've had businesses that, have been chamber members for years. So it's been really fun.
Each card, I would say, is a good mix of businesses. It's not all one card coffee shops and all one card is gyms or whatever, but it's all different.
We've really tried to highlight like you said, we've had fitness facilities on every card. We've had Zymes Ford Corners on there. We've had the Chilled Dessert Shop because they moved new locations. We really wanted to highlight that. So it has been the new Pocket Stone Bakery. They're on there. And so it has been really fun. And it has also helped me to really appreciate all of our chamber members because some weren't, it wasn't the greatest to have a bank on there because all banks lobbies and stuff aren't open right now.
Right.
But we were able to try to get out with some fun places, the growers market, and just focus on some of our chamber members, but also like Councilwoman Giacchino said, what we're doing, what we can do right now, what's open, what's positive, because I think we've spent a lot of time feeling a little down and a little negative.
Right.
So this is just a great way to kind of remind ourselves that we do have some things we can do. But you got to get it into me or else, you're not going to win any prizes.
No, that's right. So there you go. You got to be in it to win it, as they say.
Be in it to win it.
So there you are. And the deadline again is the
18th.
18th of September.
Friday.
So there you are.
Friday.
Everybody. But that's that's a week from Friday.
Yes.
So this Friday is the 11th. So we have another week. I just want to make sure people know.
Labor, any of those Monday holidays.
I know.
It kind of messed me up.
I understand.
Yes,
and it's late
a week
this year.
from Friday. I'm so glad you said that. So you have 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to scare you. I meant
right.
what I was trying to do is
so maybe you
inject
can
a
do
sense
all
of urgency.
4 cards.
You can print off all
2
4
weeks.
and make it your goal. Say, in the next 2 weeks, I'm going to get all 4 of these cards
Yeah.
done, and I'm going to get it back to the chamber.
There you go.
Yes.
Perfect. Well, there you are. So that's what's going on, everybody. Jamie Church is my guest for our radio audience from the Farmington Chamber of Commerce, of course, and we are talking about all the things that are coming up. I know a lot of folks want to know about your big event that's maybe changed a little bit.
Chile in October.
Yeah. Do we know kind of what's happening there?
Yes.
Can you give us a little bit of an update on Chile in the crazy year 2020?
Yes, I can. So here's the scoop. So we can't do Chile in October the way we've done it in the past, which has been a great chili cook-off at Berg Park.
Right.
And it has been a standard event now for the chamber for years and years and years. We can't do that this year. So what we're doing is kind of like the bingo thing, but it's where we're going to have a card and it will have restaurants on it. And those restaurants we're still determining. But they're going to prepare a chili that's going to be called the Chamber Chili. And there will be a card, and you'll have at least a week to do this, to go to the different restaurants and just ask for a sample, a tasting of the Chamber Chili. And so they'll have little styrofoam cups, they'll put a taste in there, and then you taste it, and then you visit all the restaurants on your card, and then you submit what you think is the people's choice of all the restaurants. And it will probably be 9 to 12 restaurants on the card, depending on how many we can get in there. We're even going to have a chili flavored beer. So I'll drop a little hint. Lauderhouse is going to participate, and they're going to have a chili beer. So you can go in and taste a sample of that if you're over 21.
Right.
And so you taste the chili, and it can be whatever the restaurant specialty is. It can be a restaurant that always has chili on their menu, and they just want to highlight their chili, or it can be a restaurant that never has chili on their menu, and they want to have fun and do a chili. So you taste it, you go to all of the participating restaurants, and then you submit to us your vote on your people's choice.
Okay.
And it'll be similar to the Back to Business Bingo in that we'll have prizes. If you complete the card and go to all of them and get your card back to us, then you'll be entered for a prize drawing. So this is the way we're going to kind of take Chili in October and turn it on its head a little bit for COVID, and still give the restaurants a little bit of a shout out on their chili. And again, we hope you'll go in and eat there, but even if COVID restrictions haven't changed that much by October, at least you can get the sample of chili and try it. So we think this will be a fun way to still celebrate chili.
Right.
And so anyway, more on that to come. We're still working out all the restaurants and the card and how it's going to look and how the time frame, whether this will be a 1 full week to get your card done, or whether it'll be over 2 long weekends or something like that. So we're working on that, but we want to work with the restaurants and make this as easy for them as possible too.
Stay tuned.
We know they've got a lot going on.
Stay tuned, as we say in radio.
Yeah.
To Jamie Church
Stay
for
tuned.
more details. But this
that
usually
was a lot of
happens.
details, and I didn't even think I had that many details.
Right. I was wondering if you.
Yeah,
I was
well,
hoping that you had details
they're
as I
all in
brought
my
up the
head.
topic.
These
So there you
details are
go.
all in my head. They're not solidified.
And I know this usually happens early October. Is that still
Right.
around the time
It'll
you're?
be more mid. It'll probably more the mid October.
But it's chili season,
right?
so,
Chili season, and we were looking at weekends, and I think there's another Monday holiday. I think it's Columbus. No, maybe not Columbus Day. Something.
That's an October holiday.
Okay.
Yep.
But anyway, so we wanted to kind of, we want to work around that. And the restaurant schedule. Many of these restaurants now are closed on Mondays and Tuesdays because during COVID, they don't need to be open Mondays and Tuesdays. It just hasn't been a high revenue day for them. So we wanted to work around the restaurant schedule. So anyway, stay tuned.
Okay, that's how it'll work.
Yep.
And again, this is usually a big fundraiser for the chamber. Is it still hoping? So like it may cost me something to get this card to then go around,
actually,
or what are you thinking?
We do have a sponsor this year. Waste Management came forward as a sponsor, which is great because that just means we can put all the restaurants on there for free, and it's not going to be a fundraiser this year. Let's just say it's a fundraiser. and a friend raiser for these restaurants and also for the chamber. We do want to keep people remembering, gosh, the chamber has been trying to do everything this year. In fact, we're going to be doing speed networking, and that is September 24th. It's going to be a Zoom speed networking.
Okay.
And it's going to be limited, only 30 people, and we're getting ready to work on the details of that. But we'll be sending out information, and the first 30 people who register can be part of speed networking. This is another event we've been doing for probably 7 years, and we're doing it differently this year.
Sure.
So,
but this has been a great way for someone maybe new to the community or new to business to network, to literally network with other people in the community, and this kind of forces you to pair up with somebody else and give your elevator speech and see what they're all about.
Great practice on your elevator speech. This
we have
year,
no elevators in this
we have
community.
No elevators.
No, very limited, I'll say.
Yes,
but anyway. But you should still have an elevator speech.
1 minute. You should be able to say what you do in 1 minute.
Right.
I can say it in 2 words or 3.
Okay.
I'm a connector.
There you go.
That's all. That's all I'm going to say.
See?
So anyway,
that's coming up in
September. More details to come on that. And then we will be doing the Women's Summit. We did the first professional Women's Summit last November. It was hugely popular, very successful, sold out event. And then here we were all getting ready for our next one, and then COVID. So we are doing it, but it will be a virtual event, Facebook Live event. But I think we have a really good, very interesting keynote speaker, and we'll be doing some fun things around that as well. So we are trying to take every event we've ever done and just change them a little bit.
Sure.
So,
but keep them going and talk about what we can do.
Right, exactly.
And that's really important. In fact, I think I saw some masked red coats out and about. You were still doing a few of the red coat events.
That's right. We just had a ribbon cutting last week with Roberta's Garden, which is a new, really neat little shop right on Main Street. And we were very careful about the masks and standing 6 feet apart for the photos. So we are still trying to celebrate our new members and have our red coats, our ambassadors being out there while observing all of the safety protocols. So it's, the chamber's no different than any other thing that's going on. We're having to take everything we do and just look at it and see how do we adapt it for this year. Now, some of these events may work out so great virtually that we'll just keep doing them that way.
True.
So I'm getting really good at Zoom.
I
but
know,
now I need to learn Microsoft Teams. So
that's about the same.
Yeah.
But I'm with you. We're on both too. So yeah, I hear what you're saying. But but it's very exciting how out of the box you can get when you need to.
Right. And I guess we could focus on the negative, but in a way, sometimes when life hands you these things, learning to do things in a new way and adapt sometimes helps you cut loose the things that really weren't working all that well. Or maybe they had been, but they're getting, they needed an injection of something else. They needed new energy. And so COVID has sort of forced some of us. Look at all the restaurants that now have outdoor dining spaces.
Sure.
And who might be looking at how can they do those more permanently on an ongoing basis. So it's become very evident that people like sitting outside and dining. I know we were kind of forced to, but I think people enjoy sitting in outdoor spaces, and I've seen some extremely creative spaces. So that's one of those things that's like maybe going forward, the restaurants will be looking at that more permanent structures in, next spring and summer and fall to go forward with this permanently.
Right. Well, and especially here, we have such a great climate, usually, and even in the heat of summer, it's usually not as hot if you're in the shade. You can certainly have an enjoyable time of things. So I think you're exactly right.
Right. Just trying to focus a little bit on the positive.
No, I think that's perfect. So I think that's what everyone should be doing and needs to be doing because this is where we are.
That's right. And we have some fun things coming up. I'll be doing a little bit of an interview later today with somebody who's doing a really fun event. It's a pumpkin carving contest. Lori Fenneman is organizing this as part of the Alzheimer's Association and pumpkin carving. And I'm not going to say too much about it because it's her event, but that'll be something fun to look forward to. I think the virtual art walks are still going on through the Convention and Visitors Bureau. They're doing the virtual where they have the art online and you can bid and purchase art that way. So, there's the Back to Business Bingo. I mean, there are things going on. You might have to search them out. It might be different. You might have to work a little harder at them, but they're still there.
Right. Very true. And I wanted to say, too, for Chile in October, for that Chile event that you mentioned, that you may have, several days for folks to travel around and visit all the restaurants.
Right.
But if you really want to do it like you would have, when it had been like last year, you could go to all those restaurants in a day, I suppose,
and
sample all the chili.
Wow.
Really you try it out.
You actually really could.
You could.
I mean, and we are going to do this for sure over at least a 3 to 4 day weekend and say here, but you actually could go to every single one of them.
But that's
and
what
that
you
would
would
be
do
a fun
if
challenge.
It was still in the park. Sure.
That would definitely be a fun way to do it. And so, and
so
I
stay
think
tuned.
So stay tuned. But, so yes, just stay tuned. That's all I can say. Well,
the choice is yours. Yeah.
Well, there were 20 booths last year at the chili cook-off that you could taste, and most people went around several times, so not impossible. And you could have a fun time with friends and do it as a progressive. Hey, we're going to go here and drive all over, kind of like a scavenger hunt.
Right.
So
except you get chili at every stop.
Yeah, you get chili at every stop.
What's better in New Mexico than that in October? I know. Exactly. Well, that's wonderful. So just a couple minutes remaining, Jamie Church. So the big push has to be back to business.
Yes,
bingo, because as we said,
2 weeks. The 18th. The 18th is the deadline. Week from Friday, and we are working too on another Facebook Live event that has to do with the schools. Working on our panel for that, and it won't be. It'll be more focused on resources for parents right now. So stay tuned for that. We're working on that, and so we're busy, and we have brand new members coming on all the time. So
very exciting. And again, these new businesses, how much credit do they need to open during 2020?
Right, exactly.
I mean, it's so uncertain,
right?
But good for them. They have a dream.
There's always opportunity, and I think that's what these new business that have started said. Okay, well, it can't get worse than this. So if we start now, we know we can survive anything. I mean, if you can keep your business going during 2020 or start your business, wow, it's nothing but up. That's what I'm going to say anyway.
I think that's
true. It's true. So exciting.
Go. And for the rest of us, I think, again, that great reminder to continue to patronize these local businesses, to go in. Again, if it's a restaurant, if you can't eat in or eat outside, to get to go or go pick it up.
Right.
All these are ways that we can help with our dollars and spend it locally to help these local businesses.
And those downtown businesses, especially, we know that half the downtown is complete. It's great. The roundabouts are awesome and the restaurants, but now there's the other half being done, and we do have some chamber members and businesses located in that corridor, specifically Boone's Tie and Tales of Tomorrow and Wall Art and all of those shops in there. So you might have to work a little harder to get there, just navigate, but you can get there. They've
still
made it accessible. Oh, very accessible.
Arrington or Broadway.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Really? So just remember those businesses. Don't avoid the downtown businesses right now because they are really counting on your support. So just venture down there and explore the whole downtown.
Very true.
It's great. We have some great businesses down there.
And again, we're looking forward to all of Main Street being reopened sometime in November. I think everything's on schedule.
Yeah, everything's on schedule.
And so as this year churns along, we're looking forward to those ends of those big projects too.
Right, exactly. So just remember to get down there, and if you're a restaurant and you'd like to be part of the chili in October, you do need to be a Chamber of Commerce member. But if you have a great chili recipe and you want to participate, just reach out to us at the chamber, and we'll get you all set up.
Okay. Phone number real quick for folks who don't know.
325-0279.
That is the Farmington Chamber of Commerce. I'm sure you can send a message through Facebook and you'll get that too.
Absolutely.
The Chamber's Facebook page is another great resource for local businesses. So terrific.
Thanks.
Good to see you, Jamie. Thanks for coming in.
No, it's great. Thanks.
Enjoy the colder weather.
Yes.
And harvesting your tomatoes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
We'll see you next month.
Thank you.
Jamie Church from the Farmington Chamber of Commerce, my guest here on KSJE. And I'll be back with more, of course, in just a moment, everybody. The time right now is 8:41. Hi, I'm Scott Micklin. As a longtime resident and advocate for San Juan County, I care deeply about this community, and I know you do too. Today, making a difference is easy. All you need to do is complete your 2020 census. The census is so important. It determines how funding is allocated for roads, public schools, nonprofits, and many other critical programs. It's only 10 questions. The deadline is nearing. Make sure you get counted and benefit San Juan County. Complete the census when you receive your invitation from the U.S. Census Bureau or visit 2020census.gov.